Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second adventure of our campaign series. It's really the fourth, but since the last two were parts 1.1 and 1.2, we are now on part 2, finally, after playing 3 games of the Saga
Technicalities.
Campaign, which we are currently provisionally calling Glorfindel Walks to Mordor. I'm Onitson,
And I'm McFeelian.
and today we are going up against a knife in the dark. Want to tell us a little bit about your deck, Ecthelion?
Sure, so mine is pretty much identical to the deck that I ran for the first 2 quests in the campaign. It is slightly more combat focused. The Beornings are going to be coming out in full force, and it has a couple copies of Tireless Hunters to try to bring down Bill Ferny before we have to deal with his threat increase for too long. How about you?
Mine's just about the same as the deck I ran last time against the Barrow Downs, except for because I don't expect us to be dealing with quite so much threat increase, I decided to avoid the Fall of Gilgalad jank. That was fun to pull off for one quest, but not something I want to try to consistently pull off through the campaign.
All right.
So we've gone ahead and set everything up. Octagon has set up the opening setup for the quest for us.
And I
I'm
believe
looking
at
at
the end of
my opening hand and thinking, while unexpected courage is nice and so is Aspaloth, I'm thinking I really kind of want a mulligan here. I'd really kind of like to have a high cost ally to put into play with the Prancing Pony.
All right.
And there's Gildor and Glorion. I will take it. What about you?
Awesome. Good to see that Light of Valinor as well. I have a very, very significant amount of card draw in my opening hand, and so even though I don't have that Tireless Hunters, I think I'm going to keep it and hope that I draw into it. I also have a Timely Aid, which is great to see while my threat is still at 20.
Excellent. So, without any further ado, shall we go ahead and get started reading Quest 1A?
All right. Frodo and his companions arrive at Bree to find the shadow of Black Riders already on the crossroads town. Unsure of who to trust, they decide to lodge at the Prancing Pony. There they meet a friend of Gandalf named Strider, who offers to lead them to Rivendell, but their movements are also tracked by less savory folk. Like this fellow over here in the staging area.
Yep, this is going to be the major issue for the early part of the quest. That is going to be a lot of threat raise. At the beginning of the staging step, either shuffle one out of play Ring Wraith into the encounter deck, or each player raises his threat by 1 for each non-fellowship hero he committed to the quest. And with 3 threat, you can't get away with just questing with Frodo. Alright, so
Right.
we'll flip to stage 2. We cannot advance while the Prancing Pony's in play.
In dark and loneliness they are strongest. They will not openly attack a house where there are lights and many people, not until they are desperate, nor while all the long leagues of Iriador still lie before us. But their power is in terror, and already some in Bree are in their clutch. They will drive these wretches to some evil work, Ferny and some of the strangers, and maybe the gatekeeper too. Strider, the Fellowship of the Ring.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get to work on turn 1.
All right. In the resource phase, I'm going to play Timely Aid with a single resource from Sam.
Excellent.
And that reveals a free copy of Zulian.
Whew. That's nice. Even if we don't get the Tireless Hunters, having a high willpower ally like that will make a significant difference. I'm going to first add Hotam Bombadil to my hand. And then I'm going to not damage, remove the resource to play Light of Valinor onto Glorfindel. And discard an Elven Light to put a resource onto Glorfindel and spend all 3 of those resources on this Rivendell Minstrel to search my entire deck for a copy of To the Sea, to the Sea. And that's my turn.
Alright, I'm going to play a copy of Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And let's discard an extra copy of Frodo's Intuition from my hand. I will play the Shirefolk, proxied by the End Comes, to immediately reduce my threat by 4, down to 16. And I have 3 uses of Gandalf ready when we need him.
Wonderful.
And that'll be all for my planning.
Alright, so we're not going to get Bill Ferny down out of the staging area in the near future.
Not quite yet, although a couple pops from Gandalf might be able to just get rid of him outright without even having to pull him down.
That is certainly another way to deal with the problem. So, questing. You know, actually, how would you like some more card draw?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead and draw 2 cards from Barivor.
Okay. I have a nice helpful hobbit here, and I think I will immediately spend a resource from Pippin to play a fast hitch onto Samwise.
Excellent. Alright, so I will you know what, I'm just going to send Arwen and Glorfindel and Frodo and the Rivendell Minstrel. Bill Ferny only raises threat for heroes committed, so I will raise my threat by 2, but I've added 10 willpower against 5 in the staging area.
Okay, I will quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think that'll be all. And just raise my threat by 1.
Excellent. So the first card to reveal, my card is... Oh, you know, this is actually
wonderful.
Perfect. This is actually perfect. It surges
Still
into
getting a
still
little bit
my
greedy.
card. I'll leave this out here as a reminder for the ongoing effect.
And my card.
And for your card,
This is Peril, and I have to attach it to a hero I control and reduce his stats to 0. I'm going to stick it on Pippin.
alright then, poor Pippin.
Poor Pippin.
So, at the end of the quest phase, Bill Ferny engages me.
We should probably resolve the quest first.
We should probably resolve the quest first. Thank you. So we're questing for 16 against 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which means we make 9 progress. As soon as we clear the Prancing Pony, we will be sitting nice and pretty. And now I'm second guessing myself if I want to travel to the Prancing Pony.
I don't think we should. I think probably we should try to stay on stage 1 until our board state's built up a little bit more.
Yes.
Working against the encounter deck to place progress on number 2. So maybe just the Pathless Country for now.
Alright. And now, at the end of the phase, which actually should have happened before we traveled, but
Yeah.
I don't know that it makes a difference. Down comes Bill Ferny. And since I can't do any damage to him, I will defend with Glorfindel. Taking no damage.
And good to see that card gone.
And I shall pass Frodo over to you.
And we'll begin the next round.
Alright.
Okay. I'm going to be greedy and take both of Frodo's resources for a little spark of intuition, which I'll leave on the table for the passive willpower boost, and draw not one, not two, not three, but four cards. Um, I will spend a resource from Pippin for an elf stone on our pathless country in hopes that a giant bear might come gallivanting down. Um, I will play Daron's Runes, draw two cards, discarding a superfluous copy of Rosie.
Alright.
I'll spend a resource from Mary for a copy of Resourceful on Sam, and the other resource for a Dagger of Westerness on Mary. And that will be all.
Very nice. You're getting your board state up quite quickly. I will spend Arwen's resource on To the Sea, To the Sea. I will take Barivore for myself, if you don't mind, this round.
Go for it.
Oh, and there's my Will of the West. I will, in fact, use To the Sea, To the Sea, discarding a superfluous copy of Gildor, and Hotom Bombadil, because I don't think we're going to be using it this during this quest. And then spending one resource to play a second Rivendell Minstrel. Searching my entire deck for a Song of Battle, which I will not play with Glorfindel's resource. I'll probably steal Frodo's when he comes back next round.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Sounds good. As for the quest, I think I will commit, counting the boosts from Frodo's Intuition, 10.
Alright, and I will, to avoid raising my threat any, commit 4.
And my threat is up to 19.
So 14 against 2 for us, is that it?
Great.
So the first reveal, your card is Piercing Cry.
And this is a peril card. So I'm going to search the encounter deck for a Rider of Mordor. If you would do that for me, since you control the deck.
Alright.
And
where would you like it?
Let me take a look at his text box real quick. While he's engaged with me, each characters I control get -1 willpower. So I would lose 3 willpower. Actually, I would only lose 2 because Sam would immediately ready and get an additional willpower if I put him engaged with me, as opposed to losing 4 if he goes into the staging area. He would remain in the staging area for an additional round because we wouldn't have to. Your threat is still at 34.
And he's boosted by Pippin, so.
Oh, that's true. So I'm going to just add him to the staging area.
Alright then. And my card is Black Breath. Oof. It doesn't blank text boxes, so I'm going to attach it. And it doesn't have to go on a questing here either, so it attaches to Barivore.
Big surprise there.
So 14 against 6, we make 8 progress, which clears Pathless Country and brings out an Elf Stone. I'll let you discard
will
that.
equate to a giant bear. I'm sure there are probably some heads turning at the giant bear wandering through the streets of Bree.
You are probably right.
And what do you think about traveling? I think we should probably hold off. You could probably use the free ally more than I could.
Yes, I think so. I'll use it to get in Gildor next round. Unless Iristor shows up, in which case bringing in that ally for free is always a good option. So skipping the travel phase, how do you feel about engaging a rider of Mordor?
Um, at this point, I don't think we need to. It, um, we won't have to engage it for a couple more rounds, and the 4 threat isn't a huge deal with our questing.
Fair point.
Um,
Fair
and
point.
next turn, Sam will be able to be defending 4/4 with the help of his favorite hobbit friend.
Okay then. In that case, if I take Bill Ferny's attack undefended, I can do a grand total of 1 damage to him.
A sneaky Gandalf could finish him off.
You read my mind. Shall we aim in that direction then?
We shall.
Alright then. Deal out the shadow card. Take the attack undefended.
Oh,
Or we can save the sneaky Gandalf.
all right. I believe that will ready Sam and draw me a card from Pippin. And Sam will exhaust and then ready with the fast hitch to defend this attack. Wow, Bill really likes to move.
Okay then. And even if you had the resource, we're past the part of the phase where you could play Tireless Hunters.
Yep, that's just fine. We can hunt him down next turn. Might have gotten away, but my fierce hobbits will have him.
Alright then. I think that's time to go to the next round.
Okay.
There's
And
another
here's Mr.
veteran sword
Frodo.
elf. And since Barabor has no stats and nothing else useful to do, and there's Irrestore. Unless you have any objections, I'm going to use Frodo's resource to play the Song of Battle onto Glorfindel.
Go right ahead. During this time, I'll also play the Shire Folk.
Okay. I will use Arwen's resource to pull Elven Light into hand, drawing a card. Discarding Elven Light for another resource onto Arwen, then drawing it back yet again. Ooh. Pity that there's not an active location right now. I really could use that elf stone.
I know.
Well, I will exhaust to the sea, discarding an Elven Light, and
Probably the veteran.
I'm thinking of dropping both of the veteran sword elves, which I actually hesitate to do because I have Will of the West in the deck, and shuffling them back in when I finally get that third copy out will drop that third copy stats. But I think the early start is more important. Spend a single resource to bring Galdor of the Havens into play. And I think that is all I have to do.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'll spend Glorfindel's resources to put an Elven Male on him, so he's now at 7 hit points.
Awesome. I will spend 2 from Sam for Sam's favorite hobbit friend. And that'll be everything from here.
Excellent. So, as far as questing goes, I shall send Frodo and the Rivendell Minstrels and not raise my threat. So that's 6 that I'm sending against 3, 7, 9 in the staging area.
Okay. And I will send, let's go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So 12 against 9 in the staging area.
With possible 2 more from Rosie.
That should be sufficient, I think.
Actually, do you
Um,
think I should sneak in Gandalf right now so he can help Quest?
yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Gandalf will pop in with a sneak attack, dealing 4 damage to Bill Ferny, and we'll press for another 4.
Okay. Just a thought. Between Mary and the bear, you have enough to kill him outright.
Okay, do you think I should put those on um, the rider
The
then,
rider.
or for other
I was
cards?
just curious if card draw or threat reduction would be helpful to him.
My threat's at 16, so threat
Yeah, okay.
reduction is probably not necessary. Um, and they should be fine in the way of cards, so we'll just put those on Bill in case more shenanigans happen.
Sounds fine to me. All right, so we're actually sending 16 against 9, which is a much better feeling. My card is Chetwood, which boosts the threat in the staging area by 1 for the moment. And Power in Their Terror, which each ally gets -1 willpower till the end of the round. So I lose 2 willpower, and you
And
lose
I
2.
also lose 2.
And then we deal 2 damage to each ally with 0 willpower, which is just the bear.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you remember to add the staging threat from Chetwood itself?
No, I did not. So we break even. Just to
Okay.
double check, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with Chetwood, 12. Yes, there we go.
Are we fine with breaking even?
I'm fine with breaking even.
Yeah, actually, there's no benefit to getting progress, so that'll be great.
All right.
Also, I will raise my threat by 1 for Quested Sam with Bill Ferny in the staging area.
Oh, yes. Well, it looks like it doesn't matter whether he's in the staging area or not. Just in play is enough to trigger him. All right. I will travel to the Prancing Pony, putting
Okay.
Iristor into play, discarding the Elf Stone to Aristor to draw a card, and then triggering Galdor's response to draw another.
All right. I'm going to optionally engage the Rider of Mordor,
Okay.
which will ready Sam, give him +1 to each of his stats, and draw a card from Pippin.
Okay.
And then let's deal shadow cards,
At the start of the combat phase,
and I will play Tireless Hunters to pull down Bill, which
he
will
does
boost
not get a shadow
Sam.
card.
He does not, and I draw another card, and Sam is up to 3 defense and 3 attack, and 5 willpower. Sam will exhaust to defend and then ready himself against the Rider of Mordor.
Okay.
And it looks like he's coming to you, unless you have a hasty stroke.
I do. I have 2 of them, and I have no resources to play it. So, here we
And
go.
Sam, I will exhaust Rosie to prevent any damage.
Oh, yes. That's important. Over here, I can attack for 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, which isn't bad.
Another Gandalf could always come soaring in next round.
Yeah, I think that'll be not a bad idea. So, if I'm going to attack for 6, I think I'll take the attack undefended. Oh, well, it wouldn't have mattered. Dealing that 4 damage to Glorfindel. And then Bill Ferny doesn't get a shadow card. He's attacking
That's
for 2
right.
because of the Chetwood.
And
And Sam can easily take care of that. I attack back first, don't I?
Yep, go for
I'll
it.
attack with
Show that Nazgul what you're made of.
Arwen, Glorfindel, and Galdor, which is 3 damage onto the Nazgul.
Okay, and I think the hobbits, including Pippin attacking for nothing, will more than have Bill Ferny taken care of.
There we go. And we move on to the next round.
Yes, indeed. I will play the Shire Folk and reduce my threat by 4. Once again, down to 14.
And I will use Barivore to draw 2 cards, discarding Elven Light to add a resource to Glorfindel.
And would you mind passing the Frodo?
Oh, yes. Actually, I shan't discard Elven Light for that resource yet. In fact, I shall spend Arwen's resource to draw another card. Ooh, Raiment of War. Alright. I believe you play cards first.
I think I'm the second player, so you play cards first.
If you're controlling Frodo.
Oh, gotcha. My mistake. I will just play the Staff of Lelebethron and an Elfstone.
Excellent. And
Sorry,
I will
my math is
exhaust
completely
the Seed of the Sea. And discard Elven Light. Elven Light. I'll probably drop the Raiment of War as well. Actually. Yeah. No, I'll drop Protector of Lorien. That's 3 cards I've discarded so far?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I will discard that Raiment of War. Spend a single resource to put Gildor and Glorien into play. No, I'll save the Raiment of War and just spend 2 resources.
Alright.
And I'm wondering, we've seemed to have handled our shadow effects fairly well. Although another cut, we don't want Power in their Terror to come out again.
Mm-mm.
Trying to determine whether I should... Oh, actually, I will trigger Galdor's response on those discards for To the Sea. Drawing an extra card, discarding my superfluous copy of Aristor to himself to draw another card. And now there's a Master of the Forge. Which I will...
Fancy.
Yes, I know this is weird, but I'm doing it. Discard to Arwen to give herself a resource.
Okay. One grievous turn-related mathematical error on my part later. I'm going to commit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the quest.
Okay, and I'll commit 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, leaving Gildor up. So 20 between the two of us? Against 2 threat in the staging area.
I think we'll be covered.
First reveal is another Chetwood. And the second is... That's my card. And I will remove Glorfindel and Arwen. Which means we're questing for 14 against 4, and we make 10 progress. 5 onto the Prancing Pony, 5 onto Quest Stage 1.
Alright.
We clear it, the Elfstone goes away, you can put in an ally into play.
Alright. And I get 2 enemies engaged with me.
Alright. And that's discard cards from the top. There's enemy 1 and enemy 2. And we immediately advance to stage 2.
And I believe they engage me,
Oh,
which causes me to draw 2 cards, ready Sam, and give him boosts to all of his stats.
absolutely. I believe you are correct on that one.
Yes. His plan, as far as they could understand it without knowing the country, was to go towards Archit at first, but to bear right and pass it on the east, and then to steer as straight as he could over the wild lands to Weathertop Hill. And that way they would, if all went well, cut off a great loop of the road, which further on bent southwards to avoid the Midgewater marshes. But, of course, they would have to pass through the marshes themselves, and Strider's description of them was not encouraging. The Fellowship of the Ring.
So on stage 2B, we add Midgewater to the staging area. Each player places 1 progress, those are resource tokens, progress on the current quest, and then at the end of the round either remove 2 progress from the current quest or shuffle 1 out of play Ring Wraith into the encounter deck. That's exciting. For travel...
Okay. As much as I love these Shady Brelanders having 5 attack, I think we should probably go to one of the Chetwoods.
Yeah, you're probably right. Now they're just down to 4.
Shouldn't be a problem for Beefy Sam over here.
Alright, so we'll give them their shadow cards, and I'll take mine with the Rider of Mordor.
Okay. The first one will be discarded by the Staff of Levathron.
Okay. I suppose I should have asked you which one you wanted it.
Just the left one.
Which was the one I was working on.
Yep, Rosie will exhaust to bolster his defense up to 5.
Okay.
And then he will defend the second one as well.
And that is just fine. And I don't have the hit points to take another undefended attack. Luckily, I have Gildor as a strong defender. The One Ring is not exhausted, and so Gildor lives.
Awesome.
And I will spend a resource for Elven Light.
Great.
And then for attacking back,
Mary attacks for 6, which will eliminate one of the Shady Brelanders. And the 2 berries will gang up on the other one.
and Glorfindel and Galdor of the Havens will attack for 5 between them, which is sufficient to do 2 damage to the Rider of Mordor, which removes him from play for the moment.
Well, I think we've successfully escaped from Bree without too much trouble.
Yep. I'm a little worried about the damage on Glorfindel.
Hopefully you'll
Ooh.
draw into some King's Foil pretty soon.
And at the end of the round, we remove that progress.
That's right.
And then I will draw cards with Barivor, trying to find my healing. I'll spend my resources on a Master of the Forge to continue to try to find my healing. As much as I love Elfstone, I will be grabbing the Cloak of Lorien. And I will discard that Elven Light, add a resource to Glorfindel, which I will then immediately play to put a Cloak of Lorien onto Gildor, who can now defend for 4.
Great.
And I will play out double back, although I recommend we don't quest with this round.
Yep. Anything else on your ends?
And that's all I've got.
Alright, then I'll just spend 2 for a potential Bayorn.
Ooh.
And that's all from my side.
Excellent. Well, for questing, I shall send 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I'm going to send 4 and keep Sulian ready for her action.
Okay.
And Rosie ready for possible willpower.
So that's 18 between us. Against 5 in the staging area. First reveal. There are no Nazgul enemies in play, so it's just a surge. Surges into another one.
Great to see those going.
Are there 3 in the encounter deck?
I'm not sure. I believe we might have just found 3 swords stuck into the marsh.
Apparently so. So my real card...
Nope.
What's the penalty for having the One Ring exhausted? What's the worst thing that could happen?
Lowered engagement costs. Shady Breelander's shadow effect giving -2 defense. Or that shadow effect giving +2 attack. And then not being able to cancel something that would shuffle ring wraiths in. Which I would only apply to me, but you have a test of will.
Okay.
Although that is a peril treachery. So the worst thing that could happen is that we can't cancel a unwanted attention that shows up and get an extra ring.
Okay. So I think I'm just going to take the threat gain then.
In hindsight, I should be questing Pippin for 0 willpower, just in case unwanted attention comes up.
Fair point. That surges into another card for me, Weather Hills.
It'll be good to leave around.
And finally, your card.
I will take a Rider of Mordor, and I will bring it on.
Okay.
This will reduce my willpower by 2.
So we're only questing for
but then
16.
Increase it back by 1 for Sam, and I'll draw a card.
Okay.
I will also actually, I don't know if there's an action window there, so proceed.
Okay. So there is now an action window before I resolve the quest.
Okay, in this action window, I will play a Timely Aid to search the top 5 cards and bring out my favorite ranger, Halbarad.
Ooh.
Also,
I love that ally.
Do we need Sulian for extra 3 willpower?
Well, we are currently questing 17 against 2, 5, 8. So we're making 9 progress, which is 2 on the Chetwood and 7 on Into the Wild. Making it around 10 would give us, 2 rounds before we'd even need to keep questing on this quest in order to make sure that we have enough at the end of the round to advance if we want to.
Okay, I will use Sulian then to reduce the threat of each of these locations by 1.
So it's now 17 against 5. We're making 12 progress. 2 on the Chetwood. 10 on Into the Wild. How do you feel about traveling to the other Chetwood?
Yep, let's do it.
Excellent.
As for the Rider of Mordor, Sam, if you would deal him a shadow card. Sam has 2 defense, Rosie will make that 4, and he will ready himself with a fast hitch. And the staff discards his card.
Excellent.
I will then strike back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 0 for good measure to 16.
And after massively overkilling...
Also, Beorn will show up, just for the heck of it.
All right. And I will spend Arwen's resource that we didn't need on a test of will or shadow cancellation and finally find Athelas. And let's ready up. Ooh. Discard the Elven Light to Glorfindel, or to Arwen for a resource for Glorfindel, triggering Galdor's response to draw a card. Ditch a Burning Brand to Aristor to draw another card. All of which are actions that can happen during your turn to play cards.
Okay. Unfortunately, I need to have 6 cards in order to be able to use Old Bogey Stories, so I will just pass it right on to you.
I could give you card draw with Barivore.
Um, if you could probably use it more, my deck is functioning pretty well.
Oh.
Although, looking at the size of that hand, I don't know if you need any more.
I have all the ones I need for the moment. It is true.
So whatever you choose.
All right. Oh, and Master of the Forge will get me. Ooh, there we go. Actually, now that I have an Elven Spear, and now Glorfindel is out of restricted slots.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of things I could do, but I think I'm just going to spend a resource from Barivore to put Athelas onto Barivore. And if I need it, I'll use it, and if I don't, I won't.
Okay.
How do you feel about questing to double back?
Absolutely. We do need to have removed 2 progress from Into the Wild.
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me.
But yeah, I don't see any reason not to double back. So, I will quest Frodo for 2, Pippin for 0, Sam for 3, and Sulian for... no, I'll leave her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And I'll quest for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So is that 19 between us?
I believe so.
Against 6 threat in the staging area. The first reveal. Power in their terror. Let's see, what is the cost of that?
The bear would die, the Guardian would take 2, and Beorn would take 2. And the Master of the Forge would die.
That sounds like cancellation territory to me. Do we want to use Test of Will, or do we want to use Frodo?
That's the worst treachery in the box, so Test of Will would be fine.
Okay. And then for my card...
Don't forget to spend the resource.
I did, from Arwen.
Okay, gotcha.
And I will choose to... I mean, we can probably take an additional Ring Wraith, but I have said that before and been burned. I mean, really, it does feel like we're in a place where we could handle it, but...
I vote we Surge, because either we get a random card or we get a Ring Wraith in 2 turns.
True enough, so call it a random card.
I must either... I'll exhaust the ring.
Okay, and it surges into another Weather Hills. So we've added 5. We're making 8 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And
Okay.
Sulian could make that, 11 if she wanted to.
But I don't think we need to.
All right.
And
That's
we reduce
a,
our threat by 5.
Drop our threat by 5. And shall we travel to Midgewater?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'd like to do.
During the travel phase, I'm going to sneak attack in Gandalf to reduce my threat by 5 down to 6, and then return him to my hand.
I see you're racing to 0 threat.
I am absolutely racing to 0 threat. And I don't believe we can engage this Squint-Eyed Southerner because we're trapped in the marshes.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next round.
Okay. I'm just deciding if I should Athelas with Barivor and heal up. I'd say Gildor, but I don't think I want to do that. Probably Glorfindel.
Probably Glorfindel.
Or if I want to use her for her card draw. I think I'll use her for her card draw since I don't exactly need...
Also, if you have any future copies of Athelas, you can probably throw it on Halbarad or Sulian, since their actions are less important than Baravor's.
Yes. You know, I probably should have tossed it onto Sulian because she was out when I drew it. But, you know.
Probably doesn't make that much of a difference at this point.
Right. Actually, I'm also going to use Gildor's action just to look at the top 3 cards of my deck and swap a card in there for something.
Okay.
Why not? That Light of Valinor. I'll just put it on top and bring out an Elf Stone. I don't know that it makes a difference. I'd have seen them all anyways, but you know, knowing what's coming has a value all its own.
And on to turn 7.
Alright. Actually, Master of the Forge. I'll pull up that Rivendell bow. Shuffling. Spending 3 resources to get Vigilant Guard onto Glorfindel. Oops.
Glorfindel is buried in the weight of all his attachments.
There we are. So he now has 9 hit points and can redirect damage from other places.
Okay.
And I will discard this Superfluous Light of Valinor to Arwen, triggering Galdor to draw a card, to put that resource onto Glorfindel, spend both of those resources to put a Burning Brand onto Gildor, and now he's defending for 4 and canceling shadows, and can take attacks from those Riders of Mordor all day long.
Awesome.
And then I shall save Arwen's resources for Test of Will.
Okay. I will simply spend 2 resources for a potential giant bear.
Alrighty. Questing, there's 8 in the staging area. Oh, and at the end of the round, we should have removed those 2 progress.
Right. And actually, I will also spend 5 resources for Gandalf and reduce my threat to 2.
Alright. Arwen, Glorfindel, Eristor, and the Minstrels quest... Oh, and Frodo. Together quest for 12.
And then Sam, Sulian, and the Skin Changer and Pippin will quest for 7.
So 19 against 8. All that really needs to happen is that we clear Midwater. The first reveal is a Piercing Cry. That is mine. We would lose 3 willpower if I put it into play with me. Oh, is it allies or all characters? Characters, isn't it? So I'm going to... We can handle it, and it's about to come out anyways. It's not in the encounter deck, but now I know what the 3 cards in there are. That's one of the nice things, one of the nice tricks about being told to search the encounter deck and discard pile. Even if you know there's not one in the encounter deck, you can look to see what's left.
That is true.
And so the rider goes into the staging area.
And can I just say that that is a wonderful card to see? because it'll be coming out anyway.
Yep. And so to have it take up one of our reveals is excellent. The second
Right.
card, Squint-Eyed Southerner.
And I'm going to let that surge into another card.
Okay. Surges into power and their terror. I am going to exhaust the... Oh, no, I'm not. It's shuffled back in, not discarded. Because I know what the other card in there is. And it's harmless.
Okay. Well, all we would lose is a bear and a Master of the Forge.
Right. I mean, you know, that's not a high price to pay. We'd also lose a bunch of willpower, though, and maybe not be able to...
That's true. And that is the worst treachery, so we might as well test of will that as well.
Alright, we're already up to 14 threat in the staging area. I don't think we can afford to lose the willpower, so...
Okay.
Test of will we go. We're winning by 5. I think
And
we're going to
Rose-
need a rose. No, we're not. Watch this. Elrond's Council. I reduced my threat by 3.
Perfectly timed.
I was saving it for an emergency, just like that one.
And we also have the perfect amount of progress on Into the Wild to advance to Weathertop. Strider has led Frodo and his companions to Weathertop, where he hopes to meet Gandalf. Instead, they find the Black Riders waiting for them. As the sun goes down, the Nazgul close in on their prey.
Weathertop is added to the staging area. When revealed, find every Nazgul enemy in the encounter deck or the discard pile.
Which is just that one Rider of Mordor.
There it is. That's what happens when you never add a Ring Wraith. And the Witch King is also added. There's only one shadow card left in the deck. Shall we travel to the Weather Hills?
Let's take a look at stage 3B.
Oh, let us do that.
There were 5 tall figures, 2 standing on the lip of the dell, 3 advancing. In their white faces burned keen and merciless eyes. Under their mantles were long gray robes. Upon their gray hairs were helms of silver. In their haggard hands were swords of steel. Their eyes fell on him and pierced him as they rushed towards him. Desperate, he drew his own sword, the Fellowship of the Ring.
All right, so...
And we will win when there are no Nazgul enemies in play. Which means that Nazgul under the Weather Hills, we can still win if they are hiding out under there.
Right. So I have enough attack power to kill a Nazgul and to safely defend the attack.
I could take the Witch King.
Okay. What about the Southerners?
They will just go down to you based on engagement.
Well, so if you optional the Witch King and I optional a Rider, then we'll each take a Southerner and the last Rider's under the Weather Hills? Is that what you're thinking?
Both of the Southerners will go to you because I can only
Oh,
optionally
right.
take one
Yes,
enemy.
I'll take both of them. I don't know if I can take both of them.
Galdor could defend, Gildor could defend, or Gildor will probably be defending the Rider.
Yeah, Gildor will defend the Rider. I can take one undefended. I have enough hit points left on Glorfindel for that.
We could always leave one of the Riders, and then hide the other one under the Weather Hills. Then both the Southerners go to you, and then we deal with each of the Riders next turn.
Oh, we need to do that anyways, because I have control of Frodo.
Right, yep, so we'll want to win the game, ideally next round.
Okay. Do we want to go to Weathertop? Does that matter? Oh, it would
It
force an
doesn't
engagement
really
on the
matter.
Rider.
Right.
Okay, so Weather Hills, you say?
Yep, and one of the Riders of Mordor.
What
Unless
if
you
I
want to take
put
a
one of
southern.
the Southerners under it?
It would make questing a little bit harder, at the expense of you not having to take both Southerners.
I like that idea. If you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Because I can optionally kill that Rider of Mordor, and you can optional and kill the Witch King, but that still leaves an Nazgul enemy um, for next round.
Oh, I just drew a card that lets me optionally engage another enemy next round. Um,
Alright, and then the Southerner will come down naturally to me. I'll deal those shadow cards.
Sounds
Should
good.
have gone the other way around to the Rider of Mordor.
And
Gildor will block it. Sorry, you were saying?
and I will deploy a giant bear.
Ah, yes. That shall be quite excellent. The shadow effect is cancelled. I'll take that Southerner undefended. I guess I shouldn't have worried too much. There weren't shadow cards, so it would have been 4 damage from Southerners, but I'd use the Athelas to heal Glorfindel up to full.
Awesome. Gandalf will defend the Witch King and take 2 damage.
And Glorfindel will attack for 3. Galdor will attack for 2. That's 5. I need 8. I will discard Protector of Lorien and an Elf Stone and Revealed in Wrath. That card could potentially be really, really useful in this quest, but we haven't needed it.
Yeah.
And there goes the Rider of Mordor.
Okay. I'm going to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 25.
Well, that's enough to kill the Witch King.
And let's hope he doesn't get revealed during staging next turn.
That would be... if he's revealed during staging, I'll take the Rider of Mordor and kill it, and you can kill the Witch King again in a repeat performance.
Sounds good. We might be having an encore, but I think these bears will be more than happy to oblige.
Alright. And there's a test of will. Barivor will draw the 2 cards. I'll discard my last copy of Eldwin Light. Add a resource to Glorfindel. Spend 2 resources.
Since I'm going
Oh, you're first player. Sorry. I'm doing this out of order again.
I'll save the resource on Mary. I will just spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this Gandalf is gone, only to be replaced by a new Gandalf, who reduces my threat to 0. I'll also get Frodo's Intuition, draw 4 cards, and give my heroes passive +1 willpower for a little bit. I'll get a fast hitch on Mary. And 2 more copies of Resourceful on Sam. And that's it.
And now that it's actually my turn to do something, sorry about that.
You're just fine, over to you.
I'll play the Caregiver, use Master of the Forge to grab an Elf Stone. Discard the Elf Stone to the Caregiver, triggering Galdor of the Havens to heal a damage from Gildor. Discard Revealed in Wrath to Aristor to draw another card. And nope, I'm not seeing anything else I really need to do at the moment.
Okay, let's move on to questing then. I'll send 10.
Okay. But I'll send 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So 23 between us.
Okay.
Against 11.
I think
we
we
don't
should be
reveal
fine.
12 threat. First reveal.
Bring it on, Witch King.
Okay.
You can put him into play engaged with me.
He is engaged with you.
And Sam is ready for action, increasing our willpower by 1. And I'll draw a card.
And my card of staging is... And that's fine. We make 6 progress instead of 12.
Alright.
Which clears the Weather Hills, and I won't bother putting superfluous progress on the quest.
Okay.
It means we do have another Southerner in play again.
And let's grab the Rider of Mordor with the Weather Hills.
Okay. Fine by me.
That way we just need to eliminate the Witch King to win the game.
And I'll optionally engage the Southerner.
And I actually wanted that Southerner, so I'll use Tireless Hunters to take him from you.
Okay. That will happen after shadow cards are dealt.
That's right.
Why is there a player card
That
there?
is an interesting shadow card. Oh, that must have gone in the wrong discard pile.
Well, I'll put it to my discard pile and try that shadow card again. So...
And then I'll take this one on the... the one on the right.
Does it matter?
And discard his shadow card.
Okay.
Gandalf will defend the Witch King.
Hasty Stroke says no.
Good call. And then Sam will defend the other one with 2 defense. Actually, 3 defense.
Excellent. Gildor will defend the Squint-Eyed Southerner. And I won't get a chance to kill my guy because you will be killing yours.
Okay. And 32 damage to the Witch King.
And that is the game. There are no Nazgul enemies in play. We have won the game.
Awesome. Let's look at the campaign resolution.
So, starting with the first player, each player may choose one of the following boon cards and attach it to a hero he controls. I will go ahead and create these cards so we can take a look at them. First one is Tireless Ranger. Then we have Valiant Warrior. We have Noble Hero. And the last one is Skilled Healer.
And we've talked about these cards a little bit beforehand and are making some perhaps unconventional choices. Why don't you go first?
Well, out of all 4 of these, all of them have interesting effects. Valiant Warrior, +1 attack. Glorfindel, of course, already has the Warrior trait, so the trait grant is maybe not as useful. I, of course, don't need the +1 defense. or at least not with the way I've been playing these decks. +1 willpower is always nice. Again, the trait granting is less than helpful. But the way I've been playing, building up Glorfindel's hit point pool, I actually am going to take the skilled healer boon. So that he will start with 7 hit points. That's a lot of undefended attacks we can soak.
That is, and with your attachments, Elven Mail and Vigilant Guard, I believe that'll put him up to 11, which is just a ridiculous number.
It's more than Bjorn.
I know. As for me, since I don't plan on taking these 3 Hobbit heroes through the rest of the campaign, as well as they serve me.
You just faded out there.
Oh. My apologies. As much as I love these hobbits, I'm not going to be taking them through the rest of the campaign. But Frodo will be with us for a long time, and so I'm going to attach my chosen boon to Mr. Frodo. And since he's not really a strong attacker or a strong defender, though I suppose he could become a strong defender with some boons later on in the campaign, I'm going to choose Noble Hero and make Frodo a Noble Hero.
Excellent. That extra willpower is always nice and especially useful right at the beginning.
And when we get to the end of the campaign for quests like Mount Doom, where every little bit of willpower will be necessary.
All right. Well,
At that moment, Frodo threw himself forward on the ground, and he heard himself crying aloud, "O Elbereth Gothoniel!" At the same time, he struck at the feet of his enemy. A shrill cry rang out in the night, and he felt a pain like a dart of poisoned ice pierce his left shoulder. Even as he swooned, he caught, as though a swirling mist, a glimpse of Strider leaping out of the darkness, with a flaming brand of wood in either hand. With a last effort, Frodo, dropping his sword, slipped the ring from his finger and closed his right hand tight upon it. Fellowship of the Ring.
This has been part 2 of the Saga Campaign, A Knife in the Dark. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you'll come back next time as we face, what is the name? Is it Race to Rivendell?
Flight to the Ford, I believe.
Flight to the Ford. There we go. I'm mixing that up with Road to Rivendell from the Dwarf cycle.
Which I'm glad is not in the saga because of some terrible... We won't get started on this, but thank you very much for watching.
All right. Until next time, happy questing.